Welcome to Comedy Global. The Indonesian parliament unanimously approved a new penal code on Tuesday that makes extramarital sex illegal. Extramarital sex is now illegal in Indonesia after a long-awaited and contentious amendment of the country's penal code that affects both local and foreigners alike. The bill was finalized in November by a parliamentary task force and lawmakers approved it on Tuesday. All have agreed to ratify the draft changes into law, said lawmaker Bambang Wuryanto, who led the parliamentary commission. Among the most controversial revisions to the code are articles that would penalize sex outside of marriage with up to 1 year in jail and prohibit cohabitation between unmarried couples. Insulting the president and spreading views counter to the secular national ideology known as the Pancasila was also be outlawed. It is reported that insulting the president is a crime punishable by up to 3 years in prison. The 1945 Constitution sets forth the Pancasila, the 5 nationalist principles, as the embodiment of basic principles of an independent Indonesian state. Viewed from various aspects, Pancasila guarantees togetherness, diversity, and existence of all components of the nation in the framework of national and state life, commonly referred to as the state philosophy or ideals of the state. The code maintains that abortion is a crime, but it adds exceptions for women with life-threatening medical conditions and for rape survivors, provided that the fetus is less than 12 weeks old, in line with what is already regulated in the 2004 medical practice law. Legal experts and civil society groups say such changes to the penal code are a huge setback for the world's third largest democracy. The state cannot manage morality. The government's duty is not as an umpire between conservative and liberal Indonesia, said Bivitri Susanti, a law expert from Indonesia. Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives Sufmi Dasko Ahmed and Bambang Wuryanto, head of the Parliamentary Commission overseeing the revision, told that Parliament would hold a plenary session on Tuesday to ratify the new code. Addressing a presser, Law and Human Rights Minister Yasona Lawli said he hoped that Indonesians understood that lawmakers had done everything they could to accommodate public aspiration. He also invited dissatisfied parties to submit a judicial review to the Constitutional Court. Earlier, human rights groups said that the new code would disproportionately impact women and further curtail human rights and freedoms in the world's largest Muslim-majority nation. Indonesia's population is predominantly Muslim and has sizable groups of Hindus, Christians, and people of other faiths. Most Indonesian Muslims practice a moderate version of Islam, but recent years have seen a rise in religious conservatism that has crept into politics. Decades in the making, the revision of the country's colonial-era penal code has sparked mass protests in recent years, although the response has been considerably more muted this year. Many protested outside the parliament on Monday. Daniel Winarta, a University of Indonesian student, was among a small crowd of protesters that gathered outside parliament in Jakarta. On cohabitation, for example, it's clearly a private matter, he said. We will keep rejecting this. Parliament had planned to ratify a draft new code in September 2019, but nationwide demonstrations over perceived threats to civil liberties halted its passage. Legislators have since watered down some of the articles deemed most contentious. The latest articles on sex outside marriage and cohabitation state such complaints can only be reported by close relatives such as a spouse, parent, or child. Articles on customary law, blasphemy, protesting without notification, and spreading views divergent from the Pancasila were all legally problematic because they could widely be interpreted, Bivitri said. Once ratified, the new code will come into effect in 3 years' time as the government and related institutions draft related implementing regulations. This criminal code should have never been passed in the first place, said Usman Hamid, Executive Director of Amnesty International Indonesia. Andreas Harsono, Human Rights Watch Indonesia researcher, said the laws are a setback for already declining religious freedom in Indonesia, warning that non-believers could be prosecuted and jailed. The danger of oppressive laws is not that they'll be broadly applied, it's that they provide a venue for selective enforcement, he said. This is Anjana signing off. Do like and share this video. For further updates, subscribe to Comedy Global. You may also send in your news and feedback to comedyglobal@gmail.com.